She looked me dead in the eye and said, "You're not good enough for me. You'll never be good enough." 5 years later, she saw me step out of a Tesla at a conference where I was the keynote speaker, and the look of regret on her face was priceless. But let me tell you how I got there, because this story isn't just about revenge. It's about becoming the person everyone said you couldn't be. Hey everyone, welcome back to Calm Verdict. If you're new here, this channel shares real-life stories about justice, karma, and life lessons. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Today's story is about transformation, proving people wrong, and learning that sometimes the best revenge is simply success. And my name is Daniel, and what I'm about to tell you is the most painful and empowering chapter of my life. Let me take you back 5 years. I was 26, working as a junior graphic designer at a small marketing firm in downtown Chicago, barely making $38,000 a year. I lived in a tiny studio apartment with a mattress on the floor, a secondhand desk, and dreams that felt bigger than my reality. But I had passion, I had ideas, and I had Rebecca. Rebecca was everything I thought I wanted. She was beautiful, confident, well-dressed, came from money, and had this way of walking into a room that made everyone notice. We'd been dating for 2 years, and I was completely in love with her. I thought she was in love with me too. I was wrong. See, Rebecca worked in finance, pulled in 6 figures, drove a BMW her parents bought her, and lived in a luxury apartment in River North. Meanwhile, I was taking the bus to work and eating ramen 4 nights a week to save money for the future I was building. But I didn't care about the differences. I thought love was enough. I thought she saw my potential. I was planning to propose. I'd saved up for 8 months to buy a ring. Nothing extravagant, but it was beautiful, and it represented every sacrifice I'd made. I had this whole plan: dinner at the restaurant where we had our first date, rose petals, the whole romantic gesture. Then, 2 weeks before I was going to propose, everything fell apart. It was a Friday night. Rebecca had invited me to a party at her colleague's penthouse. I should have known something was off because she usually avoided bringing me around her work friends. But she insisted, said it was important. The party was exactly what you'd expect: expensive champagne, people in designer clothes talking about stock portfolios and vacation homes. I wore the best suit I owned, which I'd bought at a thrift store and had tailored. I thought I looked decent. But the moment we walked in, I saw Rebecca's face change. Embarrassment. That's what I saw in her eyes. She introduced me to her colleagues with this weird, apologetic tone. "This is Daniel. He does graphic design." Like it was something shameful. Like I was something shameful. I tried to engage in conversations, but every time I spoke about my work or my ideas, I could feel Rebecca tensing beside me. When I excitedly talked about the children's book I was illustrating on the side, hoping to publish independently, her friend Madison literally laughed and said, "That's cute. Like a hobby." "It's not a hobby," I said. "It's my passion. I'm building toward something bigger." Madison smirked. "Honey, passion doesn't pay the bills." Rebecca said nothing. Didn't defend me. Didn't even look at me. The final blow came when her boss, a smug guy named Trevor, asked what I drove. When I said I took public transportation, he actually put his hand on Rebecca's shoulder and said, "Becca, you're too generous, dating down like this. When are you going to find someone on your level?" The room went quiet. Everyone was looking at us. And Rebecca. Rebecca just smiled uncomfortably and changed the subject. That's when I knew. She was ashamed of me. We left the party early. The car ride back to my apartment was silent. When we got there, I invited her up. We needed to talk. I could feel the engagement ring in my jacket pocket, suddenly feeling like a ton of weight. We sat on my second-hand couch, and I asked her directly, "Are you embarrassed by me?" She sighed. That sigh told me everything. Daniel, I care about you. I do. But I need to be realistic about my future. What does that mean? It means I'm 30 years old. I need stability. I need a partner who can match my lifestyle, who has ambition. I have ambition, I interrupted. I'm working toward. You're working toward a maybe, she cut me off, her voice sharp. You're 26 and you're still playing with crayons, drawing pictures, living in this. She gestured around my small apartment with disgust, this closet. When are you going to grow up? Each word was a knife. I'm building something, I said quietly. It takes time. I thought you understood that. I thought you believed in me. Rebecca stood up, grabbed her purse. Daniel, I need someone established. Someone successful. Someone who can give me the life I deserve. You're a sweet guy, but you're not good enough for me. You're never going to be good enough. Not good enough. Those words echoed in my head like a death sentence. You're going to be struggling your whole life with these unrealistic dreams, she continued. I'm not going to struggle with you. I deserve better. She walked to the door, then turned back. I hope you figure things out someday. I really do. But I can't wait around for you to become someone you're probably never going to be. And she left. I sat there in my tiny apartment, in complete silence, holding an engagement ring for a woman who had just told me I wasn't worth her time. I didn't cry. I was too numb for tears. I just sat there feeling like every insecurity I'd ever had was justified. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was delusional. Maybe my dreams were just childish fantasies. For 3 days, I didn't eat. Didn't work. Didn't draw. I just existed in this fog of worthlessness. Then, on the 4th day, something shifted. I was scrolling through social media and saw that Rebecca had already updated her relationship status to single. She'd posted a photo at a wine bar with her friends, caption, leveling up. No more settling. Know your worth, ladies. That post, it ignited something in me. Anger, yes. But more than that, determination. She thought I would never be good enough? Fine. I'd show her what good enough looked like. I took the engagement ring back and got a refund. Used that money to buy a high-end laptop and professional design software. I started working on my children's book every single night after work, 3 to 4 hours minimum. I reached out to literary agents. I built a professional portfolio website. I took on freelance design projects, even when I was exhausted. I stopped going out. Stopped dating. Stopped doing anything that didn't move me toward my goals. 6 months later, I finished my children's book. It was called The Little Dreamer, about a kid who everyone told was too small to achieve big things, but who never gave up. Wonder where the inspiration came from. I got rejected by 43 literary agents. But number 44 said yes. The book got published 8 months later. It didn't become an overnight bestseller or anything, but it sold steadily. Got great reviews. Schools started ordering it. I started getting invited to do readings at libraries. And more importantly, I started getting noticed for my illustration style. A children's educational company reached out, wanted me to illustrate their entire series. The contract was for more than my yearly salary at the marketing firm. I quit my job and went full-time freelance. That was 3 years ago. Since then, I've illustrated 12 published books. I've built a personal brand, started teaching online courses about illustration and design. My YouTube channel about creative entrepreneurship hit 200,000 subscribers. Companies started paying me premium rates for my work. Last year, I made more in 1 month than I used to make in an entire year. I moved into a beautiful loft in West Loop. Bought my dream car, a Tesla Model S. Not because I needed it, but because I could. Started investing, traveling, living the life I'd always imagined. But more than the money or the things, I changed internally. I became confident. I knew my worth. I surrounded myself with people who lifted me up, who celebrated my success, who believed in dreams as much as I did. I dated occasionally, but I was focused on building my empire. I didn't need validation from anyone anymore. Then, 3 months ago, everything came full circle. I was invited to speak at a marketing and creative innovation conference in Chicago. They wanted me on a panel about building a creative business from scratch. It was a big deal, 500 people in attendance, live streamed to thousands more. I wore a custom-tailored navy suit, arrived in my Tesla, felt like a completely different person from the guy who used to take the bus in thrift store clothes. The panel went amazing. I talked about my journey, about facing rejection, about building something from nothing. The audience was engaged, asking questions, taking notes. After the panel, dozens of people wanted to network, exchange information, talk about collaborations. That's when I saw her. Rebecca. She was standing near the back of the networking area, holding a conference brochure, staring at me with an expression I couldn't quite read. Shock, maybe. Disbelief. Our eyes met across the room. For a second, I considered ignoring her, just walking away. But something made me want to face this. Face her. I excused myself from the conversation I was in and walked over. Rebecca, I said calmly. Daniel. Oh my God. I didn't know you'd be here. I mean, I saw your name on the speaker list, but I thought it might be a different Daniel Chin, and then I saw you up there, and I just... She was flustered. Rebecca, who was always composed, was actually flustered. It's been a while, I said. 5 years. You look, wow. You look amazing. And that panel, everything you've built, I had no idea. I mean, I knew you were doing the illustration thing, but I didn't realize you'd become so successful. There it was. The word she denied me years ago. Successful. Things worked out, I said simply. She laughed nervously. Things worked out? Daniel, you're clearly crushing it. This is incredible. I'm so impressed. An awkward silence hung between us. Look, Rebecca said, touching my arm in that familiar way she used to. I know how we ended wasn't great. I've thought about it a lot over the years. Maybe I was too harsh. I was just in a different place in my life, you know? But seeing you now, seeing what you've become. I'm really happy for you. I nodded. I appreciate that. Maybe we could grab coffee sometime? Catch up properly? I'd love to hear more about your journey. And honestly. She lowered her voice, stepped closer, I'd love to just reconnect. See where we both are now. And there it was. The real reason for this conversation. I looked at her, really looked at her. She was still beautiful, still well-dressed. But I felt nothing. No anger, no attraction, no desire for revenge. Just indifference. Rebecca, I appreciate the offer, but I don't think that's a good idea. Her face fell slightly. Oh. Are you seeing someone? No, I said. I'm just not interested in going backward. You were right about one thing 5 years ago, we wanted different things. You wanted someone established. I was building something. You made your choice, and honestly, it was the right choice for both of us. Daniel, I made a mistake. I can see that now. I was shallow and materialistic, and I didn't see what was right in front of me. But people grow, people change. You're right, I interrupted gently. People do change. I changed. I became the person I always knew I could be, not because I wanted to prove you wrong, but because I believed in myself even when you didn't. And that taught me the most valuable lesson of my life: I don't need anyone's approval to be worth something. Rebecca's eyes were getting glossy. I really did care about you. Maybe you did, in your own way. But you didn't believe in me. And more importantly, you taught me that I was settling too. I was so focused on loving you that I ignored the fact that you didn't respect me, didn't support my dreams, didn't see my value. So thank you, actually. Thank you for leaving. It was the catalyst I needed. A tear ran down her cheek. So that's it? We just, nothing? We're nothing, I said, not cruelly, just factually. We're two people who dated years ago and wanted different things. I hope you find what you're looking for, Rebecca. I genuinely do. But it's not going to be with me. I started to walk away. Daniel, wait, she called out. I turned back. For what it's worth, you were always good enough. I was just too blind to see it. And I'm sorry. I nodded. I appreciate that. Take care of yourself. I walked away, and with each step, I felt lighter. Freer. Later that evening, I was at the conference after party when my phone buzzed. It was a message from a number I didn't recognize. Hi Daniel, I was at your panel today. Your story was incredibly inspiring. I run a publishing house, and we're looking for someone to lead our new creative director division. Would love to discuss an opportunity with you. Are you available for a call this week? I smiled and responded that I was interested. My phone buzzed again. This time, a mutual friend from years ago. Dude, just saw Rebecca post about seeing you at the conference. She's apparently been talking about you non-stop, saying she made the biggest mistake of her life. Thought you should know. Also, proud of you, man. You're killing it. I didn't respond to that one. There was nothing to say. That night, in my hotel room, I reflected on the journey. 5 years ago, I was a broken man on a secondhand couch, holding an engagement ring for someone who told me I'd never be good enough. Tonight, I was a successful entrepreneur, a published author, a speaker, someone who'd built exactly the life he'd dreamed of. Did Rebecca's rejection hurt? Absolutely. It nearly destroyed me. But it also rebuilt me. It taught me that external validation is worthless if you don't believe in yourself first. It taught me that the right people will support your journey, not mock it. It taught me that success isn't about proving people wrong, it's about proving yourself right. 3 months have passed since the conference. Rebecca has reached out 4 more times through various channels. I haven't responded. Not out of anger or spite, but because there's genuinely nothing there for me anymore. That chapter is closed. I'm currently working on my first original graphic novel, set to release next year. The publishing house offered me that creative director position, and after negotiations, I accepted a consulting role that lets me maintain my creative independence while earning more than I ever imagined. Last week, I went on a date with an artist I met at a gallery opening. She's talented, kind, and when I told her about my work, her eyes lit up with genuine interest and respect. We talked for 4 hours about dreams and creativity and building meaningful lives. I don't know where it'll go, but it felt easy. It felt right. Sometimes, people will tell you you're not good enough. They'll look at your circumstances, your struggles, your current situation, and they'll judge your entire future based on a temporary present. They'll make you feel small. But here's what I learned: those people are doing you a favor. They're showing you exactly who they are and removing themselves from your journey. Let them go. Thank them, even. Because the moment you stop trying to prove yourself to people who don't believe in you and start proving yourself to yourself, everything changes. Rebecca didn't see my potential because she was too focused on my present. But I saw it. I believed in it. And I worked for it every single day, even when it hurt, even when I doubted, even when it felt impossible. And you know what? The success is sweet. The money is nice. The recognition feels good. But the best part? The absolute best part is knowing that I did it without her. I did it without anyone who doubted me. I did it on my own terms, building something authentic and meaningful. So she said I wasn't good enough. Then she saw my new life. And her opinion doesn't matter anymore. Because I know my worth. Thank you for watching Calm Verdict. If this story resonated with you, give it a thumbs up and drop a comment. Have you ever had someone doubt you only to witness your success later? How did you handle it? I'd love to hear your experiences. Remember, you don't need to prove yourself to anyone except the person in the mirror. Believe in your journey, work relentlessly toward your dreams, and let your success be the quietest and loudest statement you ever make. Subscribe for more stories about growth, karma, and life lessons. Until next time, stay focused, stay confident, and never let anyone else define your worth. This is Calm Verdict, signing off.